We are live. Welcome to the Singerdread blog. I haven't done one of these in a little while. I'm Singerdread. This is my YouTube channel, Singerdread blog, all one word. Just want to say welcome to everyone who's tuning in, who's watched these videos before. I've only done a couple. I actually did 3. I took one down for certain reasons because the subject of it was quite touchy and yeah, certain things because of that video happened, so I took it down, but I'll probably put it back up again and I'll tell you on a different time what video it was. Shout out to Sideshow Wiggle, he's in the hizzle. May chip in, may not, he's busy at the moment doing something. But yes, welcome again. Enough rambling has gone on. This video is, I don't know if anyone's watched my videos before. Basically I just talk about shit that's going on, things in the news, ramifications of anything going on basically in the news, any stories that I think are interesting or people might want to know about, government conspiracies, weird shit. Any weird shit, I will talk about it. And this one I'm doing, I haven't done one for a while. It's gonna be on mostly a subject that people are unaware that goes on, but it does go on, and it's like basically a massive role in why people are controlled the way we are and why people think the way they do, and it's perception management. And basically the way to control a large group of people is to control the way they perceive everything, so then you can predict their reactions to certain things. So if you can understand and change the way people perceive things and know that you put a certain thing out, they're going to react a certain way. It's a very easy way to control people. It's a very easy way to set things in motion for things to happen, and then that set off dynamics and trigger certain groups of people. And that's what you're seeing today. That's what you're seeing all over the world. That's what you're seeing in politics. That's what you're seeing in everything. Things happening, triggering certain reactions, and then solutions to that problem or reactions are then put in place, and that's how they create change. That's basically the way that politics works nowadays, is by perception management and controlled circumstances, acts of terrorism that they will do, financial terrorism, the way they're controlling interest rates and the bankers and the bailouts and all that kind of shit. So this video mainly is going to be about perception management, but it's going through a shitload of other little tidbits that basically explains why perception management is happening. So we'll start off with just like the news for this week, or things that I've seen that are going on. There's loads of shit going on. We've had the what day is it today? 25th of February 2014. I was going to do a little thing about Valentine's Day because we just had it, and I was going to do the video last week, but it's not boring, but it's just another one of those things where you've got a holiday that's been given a certain name and been given a certain aura around the holiday, and then people end up doing things on that day and not really knowing why they do it or why it's called Valentine's Day or St. Valentine's Day. There's a few stories about, basically the Romans were not allowing men to marry because they wouldn't go to war, and then there was a monk, St. Valentine, who was doing secret wedding ceremonies and secret marriages and then was executed. A couple of stories like that, but basically it's just another thing, like they just put like a name to something. I say they, I think we all know, the control structure, whoever runs everything basically, the governments, the teachers, the schools, the things that we learn, which is all part of perception management as well, because then if you can, drum it into people that things are a certain way because of a certain thing, they will perceive things a certain way. I'll explain that a lot more as we go on. But yeah, St. Valentine's Day, I was going to say a little bit of it. It's just a bit of, just fun to research these things and just find out why, is it called St. Valentine's Day? Do you know what I mean? What is the real, you know, thing? And April's Fool's Day is another one of those. You know, quite interesting just to find out why these things are. And other news this week, the Russian Winter Olympics are going on. Apparently, I didn't see it myself, but I was told about it. One of the lights in the Olympic rings didn't light up in the opening ceremony, and how I don't really mean to laugh, but it's kind of funny that the guy that was basically blamed for that, or whose fault it was, is actually now dead. I think they found him dead 2 days after or something like that. He was found dead, which is fucking interesting if it is true. I don't know if it is true, but fuck, you know, weird shit. And they made a joke of it in the closing ceremony where one of the rings didn't explode, and it was funny as shit. Yeah, not really funny if they've bumped a guy off for fucking up the opening ceremony. But anyway, there's other shit going on. You've got Pussy Riot there, getting the snot beaten out of them. There are videos. I'll try and post a link in the description of this video of a video of Pussy Riot getting the shit whipped out of them. They basically turned up. There was hardly anyone there. They just put on the old multicoloured balaclavas, started singing a song. For anyone who doesn't know who Pussy Riot is, Pussy Riot were the group of musicians, mainly females, that went into a church and were singing an anti-Putin song. Not sure exactly what the words are. I have seen them somewhere. You know, it wasn't massively offensive. I don't even know if there was any cuss words or anything in it. But basically they were arrested and imprisoned, and they got a bit of global, say, notoriety, but people know who they are. And they've turned up at these Olympics and possibly singing the same song or another anti-Putin song. And the police literally have surrounded them quick as anything, started beating them with these like whip flail things, basically like a fucking baton with some rope, then like a ball, then some more rope, then like a ball, and then like a little whippy bit on the end. Just a savage looking thing. If you watch the video, like I say, I'll try and post a link to the video in the description. And the police are just relentless in just kicking the shit out of them, grabbing the guitars, throwing them in the bin. And this is like caught, you know, anyone who was videoing it as well, the police were just, you know, knocking the crap out of them. Like crazy bit of footage. I say I'll try and post it. And that's what's going on next door in the Ukraine. Everyone's obviously familiar with what's going on in the Ukraine. I mean, what's going on in the Ukraine needs a whole other video to talk about that shit, because you know, it's, the way I'm looking at it is, it's, you know, when these things happen, these uprisings, you know, there's a lot of ins, a lot of outs, and a lot of shit going on, a lot of different parties that are involved, and oftentimes it's people in the government that are involved. But this one's kind of different. But it is also, they're saying now in the news today, you know, about possibly Russia getting involved or not getting involved, or, you know, it's a lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of things going on there with the Ukraine. But at the minute, the thing that interested me was, in all these situations all over the world, when people are, you know, fucking suffering, like with Saddam Hussein or whatever the case was, the US, the EU, NATO, they all opt straight away to impose sanctions on these countries, where the people that are running the country, they don't touch them. It doesn't mean anything to them. It's fuck all. The people that suffer, the people that are living in the country and suffering anyway. So to impose sanctions on these countries, you know, unless it was a very, you know, complex sanctioning, you know, procedure where certain aspects were blocked off and, you know, certain aspects weren't. You know, with this one, you've got fucking people taking policemen hostage, stealing guns and shit. A lot of crazy stuff going over there in the Ukraine. When you see the pictures and you see the videos, you know what I mean? So, and that's a whole nother video. I'm not even going to tell you, you know, I'm not even going to go into it at the moment. It's just interesting to me that every time in these situations they're always imposing sanctions, and it just fucks the people over even more. And you've got, you know, the people are rioting because the government's corrupt, basically. So, you know, sanctions are not the way. It doesn't mean it. It's just another one of these things that are used. It's a psychological tool. It's like a, you know, a bullying tactic. It's to fuck the people over. It always is. So we've got that in the Ukraine. We have Russia. The big immigration row show that was on a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week and a half or something ago. I caught like the first 5 minutes of it. I was hooked. I thought, right, I'm watching this because this is a fucking. They might as well all be dressed like Ronald McDonald because they're all a bunch of fucking clowns. I've got another little breakdown of the old immigration row show that, you know, a bit deeper in that, but that happened a couple of weeks ago. It's quite interesting. They're just perpetuating this whole thing of fucking immigrants. Everything that goes wrong, immigrants. Without even taking into account any kind of mathematics or numbers to actually work out the figures and what's actually fucking gone on. You know, you can look at this, statisticians and people have worked it out. People on the immigration row show themselves sat on the panel and said, look, this argument's null and void. You know, at the end of the day, it's been done. They understand that immigrants are essential to the economy. So, you know, to blame the fact that the economy isn't working on immigrants is complete fucking craziness, because, you know, those low-wage jobs, they've got low overheads because often immigrants are living in houses together, so, you know, they haven't got the overheads, so they take less out of the system and put more in. You know, the numbers speak for themselves. It's not even an argument on immigrants affecting the economy negatively or positively. We know how they affect it, and they are needed, and the whole reason why we've got immigrants in this country in the first place is because we fucking imperialism, fucking colonialism, you know what I mean? We've gone all over the fucking world and taken over. You know, that's why all these countries play fucking cricket, because originally they're fucking colonies of the UK. No other cunt plays fucking cricket apart from the ex-colonies. You know, so you look at the countries that play cricket, we owned all of that shit. You know, we've gone over, raped and pillaged the world, and then they're going to moan that we've got brown people over it. You know, you've got to think about things on a fucking, not have short-term memory and try and understand these things are historical. These things, you know, the fact that we've got black people working in certain professions over here is because there was a shortage of people doing those jobs, and people were brought in from the West Indies. You know, that these things are historical facts, man. You know, and the fact that you've got a show where people are, fucking immigrants out. What's that fucking bird's name? The stupid posh cunt who said about, you know, her kids fucking mixing with lower class children, and she was on there. What's her name? I've got her name down. Katie Hopkins. She's a bellend. Anyway, we've got a few more things about that in a minute. But immigration row, we know, you know, it's null and void. We'll get into the whole thing of it because it goes on the whole theme of perception management. You know, things like that are engineered and they work beautifully, and people, you know, the government know when they put out certain rhetoric, certain adverts, certain things, it triggers these things in people's minds and it makes them react a certain way. As soon as you start linking people suffering with immigrants, people get angry as shit and they don't even think about what's going on. So that's what I'm saying. Perception management, that's all a big part of it. So I've got another little bit about that. Other things I've seen in the news this week, fracking again. Fucking madness, mate. The fact that people are shouting and screaming about this shit and people ain't even listening and don't even... You say fracking and people don't even know really what you're talking about, and that, you know, they won't even take 5 seconds to fucking Google this shit, like, and see the negative effect it has on any kind of ecosystem or ecology anywhere, man. It fucks up everything. Water supplies are going to be the thing that it fucks up. And the fact that... governments, county councils, you know, like, you know, who you pay your council tax to, basically are granting rights to these companies, and now they're allowed to take a certain amount of money when these fracking contracts are signed. So they've got vested interest now in allowing this to happen because they're going to get money out of it. So fracking, please, everyone, please, if you don't know what fracking is, please just Google it, because it's just easy to find out about it. It's easy to find out the dangers. There's no one really the only people speaking positive about it are people from these companies that are doing the fracking. And also what you've got to look into is MPs and people in the House of Lords who have got shares, massive shares, and often a fucking... you know, majority shareholders in these companies that are doing this, Quadrilla and all these people. So, have a look at that fracking, horrible, nasty shit. It's going to fuck up our water. That's been in the news a lot recently, this week. Another thing about the bedroom tax was in the news this week. Disabled people went to court. 5 disabled people went to court to challenge the bedroom tax as unlawful. They lost. They said it was unlawful because it, took away their basic freedoms or something. I'm not really sure. Basically, they're saying that basically it affects their right to live. And they got it thrown out. It was thrown out of court. They lost. 2 single parents as well also lost. They argued that the benefit cap impacts on vulnerable families and violates human rights laws and common law, which it does. And this is another thing as well. You can link it with immigrants. They're talking about the reason why they're having to cut benefits is, linking it with immigrants when, they would do it. It's austerity measures. They've been talking about austerity. People don't even know what austerity means. Have a look and see what fucking austerity means. It's ideological austerity because it's always the threat of doing it. It's always, we're going to do this or this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And people are just in a fucking frenzy. People are struggling to pay bills and all that now. Energy bills and that, when they're piling this on top, it's all about people. They know how people are going to react when they do certain things. When they put this energy out there and they put these thoughts and these ideologies out there, they know how people are going to react to them, and they know they're doing this little tiptoe and doing things slowly. They're getting from A to B, but they're going through, fuck knows how much space in between because they're doing it very, very slowly. Because if they just jump from one point to the other, people turn round in uproar and they're, oh, you can't do that. But then they do it slowly, one little increment at a time, and that's how they get to their point. I think David Icke calls it the totalitarian tiptoe, and that's literally what they're doing there, to get to this totalitarian where they rule everything. We're pretty much there now. They've gone very slowly in these little increments over the years and through the generations, then going in with the mind control and the media, and they're shaping people's perceptions on reality and how things work. And then you've got, as you go through the generations, it changes, and now I think they're at the point where they're able to fucking understand how everyone basically is going to react about most things, even people that think about things outside the box, like we do. If you're watching this video or whatever, all my friends and all that, people who we speak to, they even know how we're going to react, and they have a vested interest in the alternative media, and they're putting a lot of disinformation out there. That's what they do. They control all teams, so then they never lose. And that is the fucking mentality. If you don't want to lose, you have a vested interest in both teams, and then you never lose. Simple as that. So this whole bedroom tax was in the news. These guys lost this week. A lot of stuff saying about Snowden. Edward Snowden being nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, which I think is fucking quality. The fact that, did Barack Obama win it, or was he just nominated for it? I don't know. He was nominated for it or won it or whatever, and the fact that Barack Obama can even be suggested to be up for the the fucking Nobel Peace Prize is, But I mean, most of the people that get the Peace Prize are they say they're these. They give a fuck about philanthropists, who are trying to give back, but it's not. A lot of the time, these people are fucking the ones who are controlling the mind control. It's these people that know psychology,